Hey guys, it's Nice Clips and I am back with another Degrassi commentary video. It is the moment you guys have been waiting for. You guys have been asking me to do a part 2 of reacting to my subscribers' Degrassi opinions, so here we are. And you guys did not hold back this time. Like, you guys gave me some wild and hilarious opinions, so I cannot wait to discuss and react with you guys. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So we are already starting off with a bang. Like, this one is pretty interesting. So this person said they should have either went all the way with the incest Declan and Fiona storyline or never included it to begin with, make it disgusting and disturbing, go full Game of Thrones with it, or don't do it at all. Don't pussyfoot around it. You know what? I actually agree. Obviously, no one wants a twincest storyline because that's disgusting. But having them kiss in the first place was also disgusting and nobody wanted that. So if they were gonna make them kiss anyways, go ahead and just go full throttle and make it into its own storyline, because there were so many other ways they could have written that scene other than having them kiss. Like, you guys know when Holly J says, "It's a little bit inappropriate," and then Fiona says, "You want inappropriate?" Instead of the kiss, Fiona could have slapped Holly J, and then they have like a big cat fight, and that's the story that could have been in the newspaper the next morning. So we could have done without that kiss. And if they were gonna include the kiss, like if the writers just felt so inclined to have them kiss, then at that point they might as well have just gone all the way with that type of storyline. I have personal beef with the wardrobe department circa season 13 for the way they were styling Claire. She was a senior in high school and her fits were giving PTA soccer mom in their 40s. Did Aislinn like punch everyone's mom in the costume department for them to hate her or something? Please, this is hilarious. And it wasn't just season 13, babe. It was basically the entirety of Claire's time on the show that they dressed her so terribly. Yeah, the outfits were just ugly. Like, there's no use in sugarcoating it at this point. And every member of the wardrobe department who approved of these fits need to be punished, because there is a way to dress the nerdy girl but still make it cute. So for example, let's take a look at Rachel Berry. Like, come on, she was the unpopular girl who wasn't supposed to really have like a sense of style, but still they knew how to make it cute. What were the stylists for Claire doing? Like, they just didn't know what they were doing, and it's very sad. I will say she did kill this one outfit, like the blue with the pencil skirt. I really liked it. It was still giving secretary, but it was cute. Holly J is low-key overhyped. Her storylines were never that interesting. I could agree with you on this for season 8 and maybe a little bit season 7 since she was new, but season 9 on up, she was definitely one of my favorites. I will say without the coins though, she probably wouldn't have been as interesting, because her relationship with Declan and her friendship with Fiona are key parts to her development, but she's definitely one of the best characters. And aside from Eli, her, Fiona, and Anya carried season 10. And speaking of Anya, this actually leads me into another opinion that I got. Anya was an extremely underrated character. Maybe I'm just saying that because some of her storylines I definitely found relatable to what I was going through when I was in high school, but yeah, she doesn't get enough love. And I completely agree. Anya was such a good character in my opinion, and I see a lot of fans who don't like her, and I'm like, what? How could anyone not like Anya? But you guys know I have my characters that I dislike that most of the fandom does like. But to me, Anya was so cute and so funny. She had some really interesting storylines, like down to her relationship plots and her mom being sick and her not knowing what she wants to do after high school. I do agree, just like very good, relatable high school stuff. And I love how she just was able to become her own person around season 10 instead of just being like Holly J's sidekick. She started to stand up for herself more with Holly J and with Sav, and that one scene where she had broke up with Sav for the last time at the beginning of season 10, I was like, yeah, she ate.
Anya.
Sorry, Sav, no more lies. But don't worry, Mrs. Bandari, it will never happen again.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
Craig was the most attractive Degrassi boy. Don't get me wrong, Craig is definitely cute, but the hottest Degrassi guy to me will always be Zig Novak. Like, even to this day, Ricardo Hoyos is so cute. Like, come on, look at the material, guys. Also, let's talk about Connor. He was such a cutie towards the end of the show, but please look at him now. Like, come on, he is so beautiful. Whew, anyways, I wish all Degrassi songs were on Spotify or at least on YouTube for us to hear each individual song. I just don't understand how they never released a soundtrack of the show. Yes, I will. When the time is right, I will let you know how I feel. I'm sorry, that was me very terribly singing one of Maya's songs, but I completely agree with this because there are so many bops that came from this show. The only song that I found on Spotify was My Window by Craig and Ashley. If you guys know that song, it's pretty good, but I wish there was more because I literally just thought of like at least 6 other iconic Degrassi songs in my head right now that I wish I could just listen to in their entirety, but for some reason, someone on the team did not come up with releasing recordings of these songs. But it's okay, I'll be fine. I really wish the writers didn't black hole Keisha. I know she wasn't there for a long time, but I feel like she could have been a great character for them to keep and move along to Degrassi Next Class with Frankie's class. I honestly didn't really care about Keisha, and I feel like if she would have stayed, I would have hated her right along with Frankie, because do you guys remember when Zoe got assaulted and Frankie and Keisha were like, oh, but you're actually so boy crazy and you were going around the party telling everyone that you're sexy and blah blah blah. How about supporting your friend who was literally assaulted and is going through hell right now? I mean, obviously characters have their development, but Frankie's class in general, I just feel like was doomed. Paige and Manny should have had a romantic subplot. They're 2 girls who are extra and love hard, and they either would have been the couple that made it or flamed out in the most spectacular fashion. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't think I would have enjoyed this at all. I can't even imagine it in my head. Like, I literally can't register this as a couple, and I don't think I want to. Like, this would have been a disaster, and not even like a disaster in a good way, but just complete chaos. And I think I am perfectly fine with our Paige and Alex. They were the girl who wears nothing but pink and the girl who wears nothing but black. The perfect princess versus the troublemaker. I love that trope, and that is exactly what Paige and Alex were giving. Am I the only one who doesn't really like Paige? Like, there are times where I like her, but she was so mean to Terry sometimes and was low-key a bully, and her sleeping with Spinner when she was with Darcy was not it at all. I guess she had some kind of character development, but that also went down the drain in Degrassi Goes Hollywood, but everyone loves her because she's iconic, but hate on other people who aren't even as bad as her. Again, she has likable moments, but I just can't stand her, to be honest. And I 100% agree with this. I am not the biggest Paige stan either. I like her overall, but there were also plenty times where I really disliked her as well. In my opinion, she was just like a huge hater. She was mean to Terry, she was mean to Ashley, she was mean to Alex, she was mean to Marco in the end, and it's just like, sweetie, please. And like you said, she definitely did have times where she was amazing and very likable, but all in all, I just had pretty mixed feelings about her.
Sorry if I have principles.
You know what? You were better off as a stripper.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
Riley was such a jerk. They tried to make him more likable by making him gay, but God, he was just the worst. A straight up bully. I didn't feel any sympathy for him. Yes, thank you. Somebody said it. I definitely agree with this. He was just so unbearably violent, and he took his anger to unnecessary levels. Like, even when Peter and other people would try to come up to him and say, hey man, I have no problem with you being gay, like it's fine, he would still get all up in their face and beat them up, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And I definitely understand. He was dealing with a lot of internalized homophobia as an athlete, and also his parents were super homophobic as well, but he was just so violent, and he didn't really treat Zayn very well in my opinion either. And I hate how people get mad at Zayn and they say, oh, Zayn forced Riley to come out. No, he just didn't want to be his little secret the whole time, and it's perfectly fine for him to want someone who's comfortable being out. Let's not forget how Imogen did the same thing when she was dating Jack. Jack wasn't ready to come out to her parents, and everyone was like, yeah, Imogen, you don't deserve her. Okay, let's keep the same energy for Zayn. And by that, I am not saying Riley should have come out for Zayn. Like, nobody should have to come out when they're not ready. What I'm saying is I respect both sides. But either way, Riley was very aggressive, and it was not an enjoyable experience watching him on screen most of the time. Although I think Sean and Emma should have been in-game, I loved Sean and Ellie for what they were. Okay, so let me talk about this, because you guys know I love Sean and Ellie, and I made a video saying that I was indifferent towards Sean and Emma, meaning I don't really like them, but I don't really hate them either. But actually, now that I've really thought about it, I am not afraid to say that I just didn't like Sean and Emma together. Like, they literally dated once when they were like 12, and all of a sudden they're like the most popular relationship in the show. Like, I guess I just don't really get it. And he comes back, but he should have came back to be with Ellie because it would have made much more sense on so many levels. And I'm honestly willing to make like a whole separate video about Sean and Ellie, so let me know if you guys would want that because I could go on and on about this. So yeah, I didn't really like Sean and Emma together, and let's not forget how she cheated on him with Damien in season 7 while he was out fighting for his country. She was out here kissing other boys, and also she cheated on Peter with Sean when Sean came back, so that already wasn't a good sign of being a healthy relationship, and it was just super messy. And I just want to say that Sean and Ellie would never, and I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay. Next, I feel indifferent about Zoe's character development. She really committed some atrocious acts in Degrassi Next Generation. She got better in Degrassi Next Class, but she annoyed me again when she filmed her and Zig to make Grace upset while being friends with Maya. Okay, so this is gonna be super unpopular because I feel like most of you guys hate her, but I love Zoe, and I thought that she was just the right amount of problematic. Like, she was the mean girl, but it wasn't in a way that was annoying, but it had just the right amount of iconicness to it, you know what I mean? And I feel like I love Zoe the way other people love Emma. I made a video titled Emma being the worst Degrassi character for 6 minutes straight, and I got so many comments saying, no, Emma's my fave, Emma's my problematic fave. Well, Zoe is my problematic fave. And when she did the little filming her and Zig thing, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, not for Maya obviously, but it was just so messy and so petty that I could not help but laugh. I feel like when Holly J exposed Mia for sleeping her way to the top, it was kind of rushed, and the way Mia got 100% support from the Spirit Squad and they dragged Holly J was a little unrealistic, or maybe they were just D-writers. If it was any other girl, they would have gotten dragged for sleeping their way to the top. And this is actually so true because if you guys remember, every time that Manny would get like caught up in a scandal, they would be like, yeah, you're off Spirit Squad, but Mia gets caught up in a scandal and people hate Holly J for exposing it. It's not adding up. And I'm not saying that what Holly J did was right, because it wasn't at all. I'm just saying let's keep the same energy and let's support the girls in our environment, because from both sides there was just lots of shaming and hating, and we need more girls supporting girls, okay? I honestly think Drew is a terrible brother, and I'm not sure why everyone has the Torres brothers as the all-time faves. Dating the person that outed your brother and made his life a living hell disqualified Drew from being considered a semi-decent brother. Everything he does after is just adding onto it. Yeah, this is a tricky one because Adam and Drew definitely had some very sweet moments, but Drew was also a dummy a lot of the time. And even though he and Bianca turned out to be a great couple, when he started to pursue her, it was just kind of like, sir, what are you doing? And Drew's mom mentioned it once when Drew was talking about Bianca one night, and so she said, oh, do you mean the girl who wouldn't dance with your brother in class? And Drew was just like, no guys, she's not like that anymore. Like, okay, but it still seems like you wouldn't want to date someone who would do that to your brother. But anyways, I can definitely see why a lot of people hate Drew. I feel like I tolerate him because his storylines were always super interesting to me, but he could definitely be unlikable sometimes. I would have liked to have seen more of Esme's story. I feel like Next Class season 5 would have been her redemption arc, and it would have been really interesting to see her get some help and find out a bit more why she is the way she is. I liked that they were potentially delving into more stigmatized mental illness, like possibly borderline personality disorder, and I thought that she was a good reflection that mental illness can make you unlikable and not always a great person, but doesn't mean that you're less deserving of help. Yes, I think you perfectly summed everything up. Next Class season 5 definitely had so much potential to dive into Esme after what happened at the end of season 4, and the writers had set up such a good arc with what had happened with her mom and having the event with Maya trigger that, and it all adding up to why she was the way she was. And it was just like, oh my gosh, it was perfect. So I really wish that season 5 could have happened so that we could have gotten more into that, but unfortunately we were not able to get that. Spinner is the best overall character. I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard to disagree with this one. Every fan has their personal preferences on who is their favorite, but when it comes down to just like facts, I'm pretty sure everyone can agree that Spinner is the best character overall, because no character in the history of Degrassi really beats him in terms of development, and that alone is enough to conclude that he pretty much wins in that category. So I personally don't get why they changed so much the aesthetic and writing style of the show on season 13. Season 12 was the best season from the later ones. In my opinion, it would have been so much better if they kept it going as it was, but instead, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to remake the show as all new Degrassi that season. I think it just all comes down to social media. Around that time, like 2013, 2014 was when things like Instagram and Snapchat were becoming popular, so they probably just wanted to modernize the show a little bit to better fit high schoolers at that time. Plus, Degrassi always does that. Like when a major cast graduates, the next season they always kind of rebrand a little bit just to better fit that cast. But alright guys, that's gonna wrap this video up. I wanted to react to so many more opinions, but I don't want my videos to be too super long, but I'm definitely down to do a part 3 if you guys are. Just let me know, and of course let me know you guys' thoughts on these opinions so that we can discuss even more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.